And
Oh.
we're back again. Hello.
Episode 2 of season 3 of Dungeon Patrol. I've been trying to think, have we really named our listeners? Are they Dungeon Patrollers? I don't we really have a moniker for that.
I don't know.
I think that sounds like a good Facebook discussion, right?
I think so.
Yeah, they can make one up.
I think so. If you have an interest in contributing to that, do you care? do you want to have a fan name? It's like, is it patrollers, patrollees? Not really patrollees. We're not patrolling now.
No, that doesn't sound good.
Sounds a little invasive. Okay. All right. Well, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah. I love the underground. Just love it. Seems like every time I'm playing with you, Don, it seems like we're in the underground.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good point, man.
That is something to that. I can't help the other campaign.
No.
It is what it is for now. And I will say that I didn't, like I said, I got these notes and we were already headed underground, and
just coincidence.
It is. Embrace the dark is all I can say.
I think that we did that last season. That was dark.
Yeah.
We are escaping underground to escape the darkness of last season.
I was born into the dark.
So yeah, well, we're gonna have it in dark environment now, but perhaps maybe a little whimsy. We'll lighten the mood and lower the lights. How about that?
Yeah, I think you got whimsy with your kobold engineers and service tunnels and whatnot.
I know.
Yeah.
Copico.
Copico. Yeah.
Capocco. Okay.
Capocco.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you got.
Sounds like a French island in the Caribbean.
Going to Capocco.
Okay. All right.
All right. Well, you know what time it is.
It's time for Alar. Thank you, Jerry Don. Alar, Triss, and Brokos bid us sad farewell to Kragar, who turned aside from a life of glory to a boring domestic path. The remaining heroes made their way to the subterranean city, fighting off kobold cultists and rescuing a hapless kobold engineer. What will they find in the deep city of Knockabout? Tune in to Dungeon Patrol.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. That's an excellent recap. So, following after looting the bodies of the cultists, you see her making notes about having to get somebody to come clean up the mess, too. She promptly, and this is she as in Seela Silverscale of Capocco, begins to lead you down the long, straight tunnel. And I can't even say into the dark because it's evenly lit well throughout and very well maintained. So you think she and others of her kind must be doing a fine job to keep this place running.
So Triss compliments her on the efficient and well-functioning design.
Oh, well, thank you. Did you guys tell her?
No, we never did.
No, we never
give her
did.
names?
Nope.
Is that by design, or do you want to tell her what your names are?
I will tell her if she asks me directly.
I mean, she was trying to get a name out of you last time for her report.
She was, yeah.
I mean, it was a matter of who was going to get paid.
You start going and report, and then start calling lists, and then before you know it, you're getting emails, spam.
Exactly, that's the problem. We've been trying to contact you about your extended warranty.
But yeah, it's a tunnel warranty in this case. Well, she will thank you for the compliment and continue to lead you through the tunnel. It does proceed another 100 yards or so until you come to a junction, a T intersection, if you will. And again, continually sloping down. You take a left at the T, and you notice thus far, you still haven't seen anybody else in the tunnel. At the T intersection, you go left, and it slopes down a bit more, so it's still easy to walk, but you are definitely, headed down, presumably towards the city. So after a few hundred more yards of going through this tunnel, you do cross a few other like smaller side tunnels, many of which are not lit. Like the main tunnel is the one that's lit, but yeah, you probably pass dozens of smaller, much narrower tunnels, leading off to wherever.
And every time we pass one, I ask her, where does that one go?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, she will attempt to answer you. I mean, sometimes it's a shrug. Sometimes she'll tell you that it's another maintenance tunnel, and then, well, that one's just kind of a crossover shortcut to the other part of North Side. And that one leads to what used to be crypts, but they were filled up and they've been walled off. That one over there leads down to some of the original mines.
So were the kobold that were from the that tried to attack you? Were they from the city, or where did they come from exactly?
Oh well, no, they're not. Definitely not from Knockabout. No, they're from elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not everybody lives in the big city here. I mean, there are plenty country folk. But as far as where that specific tribe comes from, I don't know. Not everyone has embraced life down here like we have, and there's resistors, but these seem to be motivated more than just raiding and trying to steal from us. They seem to be attacking us, like with the capital U.
Perhaps you should go next time you go out. You should go with a little bit of defense or something to protect you, because you could have been killed if it wasn't for us.
Oh, I'm very, very grateful to that. Yes, they. And please, we're supposed to travel in pairs, but my one of my coworkers was out sick, and the tunnel, the light maintenance can't wait, and there was a report that one of the ones was not working properly, and again, these tunnels they're safe.
Oh, Seela, I know what it is to shoulder the burden of all the work of your coworkers.
The work has to go on. It's
It
every
does.
day. If
It
you fall
does.
behind, and then the chief gets mad, and then there's more demerits and threats, and the next thing you know, they're gonna cut my pay. I can't afford that.
Well, I commend your commitment to infrastructure.
And bureaucracy. How old is Knockabout?
Oh wow, that's a fine question. I don't know. I'm an engineer, not a historian, but it's old, hundreds at least.
Did you grow up in Knockabout or in the country?
Oh no, I was hatched here. I was raised into this. Yeah, it was they say the original buildings, I think, were built by dwarves. I don't even know. Once time starts getting the big numbers, it's hard to really imagine like thousands. I mean, I could do it because I did learn math, but it's a lot. But there's probably people in town that can tell you that.
So how much farther is it to town?
Oh, we're gonna get to North Post, and right there, as she kind of points ahead to the tunnel, which as you're walking, you do see you are coming up to where the tunnel widens slightly, and there's like a stone, like you thought that the tunnel was just ending, but you realize there's a large stone door. So you continue to walk up to it, and there's there is a sign and a series of signs in various languages, but you can read the one that it says in common, that it says welcome to Subterra. And then actually Subterra has actually been sort of scratched out, and then somebody has come through and scrawled Knockabout below. And then it says under that, so this is like in smaller print, population, and it says like 120, and then you can see they just somebody's rewritten the last two numbers several different times, and now they're just illegible. But you get the sense that like there's 12,000 people here. And then at the very top of the gate, it says North Post entry. And there's a huge like a iron knocker on the door, and she goes walking up and knocks, pulls the big knocker. And there's kind of below the sign there is like a gate, like a window hole with some bars in it, and you see a head pop up, kind of survey the lot of you, and it's not kobold actually. It's human. It's just me coming back from my repair work, and there's some brigands here with me going back to the city. So
Did she just call us brigands?
She did use that term.
We are not brigands. I will correct her. We are not brigands.
I don't even know what that word means, but I believe them.
Well, so she'll turn back and just like, yes, they're officially guild associated. So you hear some grumbling on the other side, and then there's it sounds like a crank being turned, and then there's a release, and then the gate swings open, actually just soundlessly, like it's perfectly engineered. And it reveals on the other side, the cave just opens up. So you're no longer in a nice manufactured tunnel. You're looking into a large cave, easily 100 feet across. And it's actually the side of, if you were to get a bigger scale of it, like a large, even larger cave. If you want, I could give you a sense of the scale because it's really grainy on the map. But if you want to look at it, I can share this real quick, just so you have a sense of where you're at. I will switch over.
And the writing on the gate, it was common.
Among other things.
There was common among other things. There's
Okay.
whatever languages there. You did recognize Elven as one of the languages. So you want to go ahead and share? I will build this section here.
I'm not seeing anything yet. You're sharing the big map?
What are you seeing?
I'm
Seeing the
seeing
same
nothing.
map.
The same old map from
Yeah,
last
I'm
time.
seeing the same one.
Well,
Oh, I
One-
see. Right, I gotta move that. Over.
okay. It's coming up now.
There you go.
And of course, big map from Dawn.
Mhm.
Where is it? Okay. But it's still, a lot of it is blocked off. Oh, I see. Okay.
I just moved you over. So you get a sense of where you're at as far as in relation to the city.
Do you want to share that, Thad?
Sure.
Yeah, we can do that real quick. Let's just
Oh,
show it
wow.
briefly.
A really big city then.
It is a really big city.
So yeah, what you're looking at is not, well, you don't know that yet as characters, but as players, yeah, you're clearly not in the city proper of what you saw. You're in an actual giant cave.
Okay.
And again, each of these is like 100 yards in length. So that's, over 1,000 feet long, just right there. So this is astoundingly large cave that you've just stepped into. And it extends out to the right. There are some more buildings over there, but she's immediately leading you off to the left and north to a small, I'm going to say small, a little underground city filled with hundreds of buildings. And they're arranged much like you would expect a kind of a chaotically assembled city to be. But there's, specifically, there's no roads, but you can kind of get a sense of where the paths are because the the place is well illuminated. There are these magical lights all over the place, and these like wire strung between buildings. And then there's also other different types of lights that aren't these shell lights, that are just like regular, like enchanted light spells on posts, especially placed out around various buildings. So kind of all along that left wall, you get a sense that there's just a lot of houses, just very short, squat stone houses with like some terracotta type roofs. Not a lot of wood used in most of the construction. And I mean, there's probably just like, I don't know, you can't even count them, just this whole row of structures. And then arranged throughout that cavern, just very haphazardly. You can see the whole, like it just kind of probably came together organically. There's probably another 100 different buildings, just all scattered around of different sizes and heights. I mean, some of them multi-story. I mean, there are like some that are like 3 or 4 stories, these big stone structures. The engineering, I mean, though stout, is not the most aesthetically pleasing. But there are a lot of murals and paintings on the walls to embellish things. And the paths on the ground are kind of marked because this moss is, or kind of grows everywhere. This cave moss is growing all over places. But you can see where people have walked, they've created like paths. So you can see kind of a marked road in the sense that that's where people have been walking. So that's just where it's clear. So you can kind of wind your way to get a sense of the place. So she just starts leading you through, and you can kind of stop sharing there for that.
Yep. And I'm going to lean over to Triss and say, do you think Vosh is here?
I do not know. There are many tunnels that she could have gone down instead. Perhaps we will make our way back and ask the gatekeeper at some point.
I mean, so Seela will kind of look back and say, "How are you? Do you have a friend down here?"
Yes, we are looking for an old friend of ours. Triss's friend in particular.
Oh, okay. Well, but we might be able to help you out.
Do newcomers to the city generally make themselves known to some sort of registry?
Well, yeah. When you check in with the gatekeepers, they do record entry and give you, the rights of passage and let you know what the basic rules are. You're coming in this way, you're kind of bypassing some of that bureaucracy, but it'll be okay. Just don't cause problems. And there's a list of like magics you're not supposed to do. I saw you guys can do magic, so you're wizards in that. But just they frown on. Oh, I should probably warn you that specifically. Sorry, what? Yeah, Mr. Badgerman.
Mr. Badgerman.
Yes.
That rock stuff you did. Don't do that in the city. Any sort of magics that affect the earth are very frowned upon. There's something about I don't know. What's the word? I can cause the earth to shake, and we've had issues. I'm not a geologist, mind you.
Any kind of elemental changes, you're saying?
Well, yeah, just don't mess with rocks.
Don't mess with.
Oh, okay. Are the guards well compensated, or like from the North End, or I mean, the security's pretty tight around there? The reason why I'm asking is people have to come in through quite a bit of. You said that the bureaucracy isn't quite as tight up there. Like, do things slip through the cracks?
I mean, we're not a prison colony. People come and go, and there's a lot of different factions here. So I'm not sure what you're getting at. I mean, people are welcome. We welcome everyone here, as long as you're not out to do harm and cause damage to the city.
So okay, no ruining the rocks. Got it.
And to sort of reinforce what she just said, as you're kind of walking through and taking in all the architecture, you do notice that this place is well occupied. I mean, there's a lot of people that live here, and you get a sense and you'll get a little bit more as you see more of the city, that these might be the maybe the lower income people. So there's a lot of children running around, and this is probably, I mean, I'll let you decide how you would respond to it, but there's a lot of mixed races here. You see some kobolds, which you were going to expecting, but then there's kobolds running around with human children, and definitely some dwarven children, and you see some half orcs. So there's these people of all these different races that don't always intermingle, are running about playing. And you see various the mothers sitting on the doorsteps, kind of watching out over their brood and calling out. And there's a few vendors, kind of hawking their wares. And as you're sort of making your way, I mean, you've stepped into an actual little thriving community, and it's definitely very different from Vadrogan, and just about every sense of the word.
This pleases me.
Yeah, it's alive, and I mean, you can see that these people may not have much here, but there definitely is a degree of comfort and security. And I mean, you don't see any beggars right away or anything like that. But Seela leads you through this, this maze of buildings, and she's like, yes, just what I promised you. Oh, good, he's still here. And she's leading you towards this large four-wheeled cart. You can see that's designed to be hand-pulled. And there's it's basically like a bar kind of coming out of the side. It's basically like a street stand, and there's a dwarf who's clearly standing on something behind the counter, and he's got a little banner above him, and you can smell an aroma of cooked meat just sort of emanating out from this cart as she's like, oh, come on. And on the banner, and in common, and then in the smaller, the couple other languages below it, it says chow burgers.
Chow burgers.
Chow burgers.
Chow burgers. You've never heard of Knockabout, Triss, your whole time living in Vadrogan?
No, I have never heard of Knockabout or Subterra or
chow burgers.
Or chow burgers.
This is quite the place to be missing.
I agree.
What kind of meat is chow?
Sentient, but it tastes good.
I mean, who are you asking?
The
Seela.
dwarf. Oh, okay.
Oh, she looks at you and says, I mean, do you see any cows around here? And then she's like, it's cave rat, of course, but so good. Oh, it's so good.
Oh.
Ground up, seasoned. It is the best that you will ever have. And Broadwig makes it. And she kind of waves to this, ruddy-faced dwarf who's behind the counter and says, hey, Broadwig, brought you some customers. And he's like, oh, good afternoon. Hello. Looks at the lot of you. It's going to be an expense report. If you would fill that out, and then, the usual, if you just give mine to, whoever needs it. And so Broadwig will kind of smile cheerfully and get behind his counter and start cooking up something.
So,
sounds good.
cave rat. Well, we've eaten worse.
I was going to say I have no problem with cave rat. That sounds lovely.
It's better than sewer rat.
Yep.
Yeah, Broadwig was like, oh yeah, no, the sewer rats, those carry diseases. We don't eat those. Oh, these are the finest bred cave rats all around.
How big do they get?
Well, it depends on how long you let them grow.
Mm.
I've seen some about as big as you.
I was really hoping for like free range cave rats, but no, okay.
Well,
Free cave, free cavern.
Free cave, yes.
Well, I mean, I hate to disappoint. I must confess that I don't dabble so much in the free range. There are some establishments in town that cater to that, but those, they cost a bit more. There's a bit more risk in hunting them.
I was kidding. This smells wonderful.
Now, you said these get big as me. These are non-GMO, though. I'm going to be clear.
Oh no, these are yeah. Perfectly healthy.
Okay.
No special added magical ingredients to enhance them. Don't have to worry about that.
Well, it smells good.
Yeah, mostly feed on the moss and a few other things, cave crickets and whatnot. But we do know that those cave rats, they can get a little gamey. You never know what they're going to really eat while they're out there. And there's always that question if they come across, some poor person who didn't make it back, and then
Ooh.
they eat that and you eat that. And then there's this whole question about the cycle of life. But here you go, good sirs and ma'am. And he puts out three. They're kind of wrapped up in these large leaves, and he hands them to you. These steaming, it's like a steaming patty of meat between two freshly cut pieces of bread.
Okay.
And what is the proprietor's name again?
Broderick Castborn.
Brodwick.
Thank you, my good dwarf.
Castborn.
You see, Seela kind of comes around and he hands her a little piece of paper, and she signs it, and he puts that on the counter. And he's cooked up another one and put it off to the side.
I will ask Seela, what is that about?
She looks a little uncomfortable, and she says, well, as part of the daily maintenance, when we do the North Cave, I get to expense a meal, but not everybody around here can afford to eat one of those fine burgers. So I just expense one and let him give one to one of the children, and I pack my own lunch. Just don't tell the engineer. That would be totally inappropriate. I could get demerit for that. But
Do not worry. I will not say anything. I very much respect that. That is very nice of you, kind and thoughtful.
I think it would make a fine addition to a song extolling your generosity and heroism.
Ooh.
Are you sure I can't put you in my next epic?
Well, I don't know. I've never been in an epic. But
I'll change the name. Don't worry.
It's all very exciting.
Sarah, the engineer, the field engineer.
So
Seela, where can three travelers find a good place to bed down for the night, day, whatever it is you have down here?
Oh, well, I'm going to take, yes, I'm sure I can help you find a place. There's lots of good inns. I'm really hoping you'll come with me, though. And I really want you to meet the chief. And after that, I am sure we can get you on your way, and maybe you can go find your friend.
Yes, sounds perfect.
Right. So you finish enjoying your lunch, and I mean, it is really, really amazing. You probably have never had cave rat, but it is a wonderful taste.
You don't know me, Don.
I don't know whether or not you've had cave rat. So.
Are there other condiments, like some kind of
like a
thing
moss
that you put on there?
guacamole or
Right? Yeah. Some kind of sriracha or something like that. Like, do they have peppers down here? Cave peppers?
Well, so he does have a variety of pickled things. So
there you go.
He has a very limited menu, and you kind of get the sense that he's catering to where he's at. So,
Sure.
And given the clientele here are not the upscale people, but his other offerings, he has some pickled eggs, and which, I mean, you can definitely order one of those. They're from some cave birds, but they're delightful, a little small and colorful. I mean, he actually does have a variety of other pickled things. He just has some pickles, but he doesn't have any peppers at his stand right now. But he's like, oh, I respect a man who likes his heat. That's for sure.
Well, I'll chow my chow burger like a 16-year-old boy and eat basically before I could even breathe. And then if I could have like 10 minutes, I want to take that shield and cast a detect magic on it as a ritual if I can, while we're sitting in here and eating it.
Yeah, there's kind of near his stand, there's like a little open area where some kids are playing, and there's some, like, I'm gonna say a park area loosely. There are a couple trees, which this is the first trees you've seen down here, with some benches around. And I mean, there's a lot going on here, and you're sort of taking it in piece by piece. And you think, wow, a tree underground, but they're not big trees. They're only about like 15 feet tall, and they have very colorful leaves. But you notice that winding up around the trees, around the main
Trunk.
Sorry, what is that word? What are these tree things made out of? The tree trunk are these wires, and a wire kind of goes all the way up. And then there's about a dozen different types of smaller lights. They don't look like the shells, or maybe they're made out of ground shells, but they're all perfectly white, and they're illuminating, not brightly, but they're illuminating the tree. And I mean, you're not sure what the symbiotic relationship to that is, but the tree appears to be healthy, and it looks like an otherwise above ground tree, if not. And you know, again, it could be the lighting, maybe the leaves that look a little paler.
And is this rock? Is this rock underneath me or soil?
For the most part, where you've been walking around is rock, but you can see in this area it has been probably like excavated.
Sure. Okay.
And so there's actually some nice spongy soil all around the base of the tree, and it sort of spreads out, about like 15 feet in diameter. So there's this dirt, loam here, and it's kind of grown over. The moss has really grown very densely over this area. So if you were to pull your boots off, but you could definitely touch your
Nice place to nap.
Yeah, it's like really spongy. And so some kids kind of run through there. They seem to be fairly respectable. Nobody's tearing up the ground. But yeah, this is a nice little place where you could kick back for 10 and enjoy a burger and rest for a few. So you sit there on the bench and rest your feet and fill your belly and cast your ritual. And you do not detect any magic on it.
Okay.
I would say what you determine further is that if you want to make an intelligence check, I don't know what else that might be, but to just sort of really study the design of it, you could do that.
Sure.
You might say what you think. Did you make a roll there?
Yeah. Nope. I'm lucky to know it's a shield.
Oh, it goes this way. Oh.
Yeah. You don't. Other than
I thought it was a toilet seat.
Other than it looks like a giant skull.
Yeah.
And very little working has been done to it, and it has a strap on the back side where you can kind of grip it. Sized for someone of slightly smaller stature, but you could definitely use it.
Perhaps I'll stow it away and yeah.
All right. Well, so are we ready? We better get moving. We've got lots yet to do and not a lot of time.
Let us go.
So she helps you get packed up there, and you say goodbye to Broadwig. He's still serving his customers, and kind of, oh, good to meet you. Hope we'll see you back there soon. And,
delicious stuff.
And you take your leave, and she kind of leads you to the. I'm going to keep you saying streets, but you kind of get the gist of what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Winding streets between these buildings, and leads you through the cave, kind of back behind where there's where there's no structures. There's kind of like this open area where like the back of this cave wall, kind of I'm going to say along like the far east side. And because she kind of leads you to over a section of the wall, and you can see there is a large metal door there. And it's got like a spinning wheel type handle on it. And she walks up, and she reaches in and she pulls out a ring of keys, and then she puts this large key in the middle of the wheel and turns it. And then she cranks this wheel a bit, and you hear the mechanism kind of disengage. And you do notice that the Kapoko logo is on this door. And then below that, it says employees only. And below that, it says enter at your own risk. And she opens the door and she's like, okay. And you kind of look inside, and it's a much smaller tunnel than the ones you were in before. Like, this is really narrow, like maybe like 4 foot wide and 5 foot tall. So if you're any taller than that, you have to kind of hunch a little bit.
Great.
And it is lit, but the lights are farther spaced out. So there's like patches of dim in there. And she's like, all right, come on, let's go through a way. This will get us to HQ.
Are all the employees of Kapoko kobold?
Well, I mean, at the office, yes. I mean, we do have people who are, officially employed that don't work, within. I mean, it's complex. It's a big organization, so
Sorry.
I think they'll mostly say yes, but there are some people on the payroll. I do know that. Don't
Are
worry.
the wires essential to the functioning of the lights?
Oh, very much so. Yes, that's what makes them work. It's called power.
I think I know about power.
Power is the currency down here. That's why Kapoko's in charge. So once you're all inside, she there's a wheel mechanism on the other side. She pulls she looks around, kind of looks both ways, pulls it closed, puts her key in, cranks it shut, takes her key out, makes sure it's secure. Does like a little mental math. It's like, okay, that's all the steps. Got to make sure people stay out of here. And then she sort of squeezes by to get back in front. I got to take the lead.
Okay.
And then she kind of leads you through this tunnel. You notice that the wires still run through here, but this is definitely the dirtier tunnel. Like they don't really spend time cleaning this little maintenance tunnel, and it's some water has pooled here and there just from some various drainage, and there's like kind of fallen on you, and the walls are patches. There's kind of a bit muddy, and it's also a little bit steep. So you realize you're descending farther down now, and periodically there's little handholds where you can hold on. And she doesn't seem to be having problems with this because she's got nice little clawed feet, and it's definitely built to be plenty large for her. But she's just kind of scootering along. She goes about 50 yards and then stops, and you notice that in this little light area, there's on the ground there's like a painted stripe, and she stops, and it says employees only, danger, turn back. And she's like, gotta watch for these. This is how we keep people from getting into trouble. And she kind of reaches just a little bit past there and opens up a very cleverly concealed panel and reaches her hand in, and she turns something, and you hear click, 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 click. And then she closes the panel. And then she's like, okay, all good. And she steps past this area and then motions for you to come past.
Okay, I will go, but I will ask her, what is all of this?
Oh, well, I mean, this is an intruder stopper.
And what does it do?
Oh, well, don't worry. We don't have anything lethal in here per se, but it's an uncomfortable fall. And he ejects them into a connector point to the sewers. It makes the whole experience unpleasant enough for them not want to do that again.
They call it a trap on the surface.
Oh yes, well, it is a trap. You got to keep the riffraff out of the tunnels. I mean, especially when you're talking about going to HQ. So once you go by on the other side, they see there's another line there. She reaches over, kind of repeats that step, turns this handle, and you think she's obviously re-engaging the trap.
Are you sure that we will not be in some kind of trouble if we're coming this way?
Well, normally, but the chief, I mean, there was that notice, and there was a bit about being discreet, and we're trying to stay under the guild's noses, so I think it's going to be okay. So, trust me.
Who is in charge of Knockabout?
Well, I mean, that's not a straightforward answer. It is about power. Obviously, the chairman really holds the most power as CEO of Kapoko, and we really kind of wield the largest amount of influence. And I would say the chairman probably is the person closest to being in charge, but there's a lot of different factions. It can be chaotic sometimes.
Hmm.
So she leads you through this tunnel that continues to descend, and you think you must be getting close to the bottom. And she does pass through one more spot where she does this whole routine where she clearly disables the trap and motions you by and re-enables it.
So is there something that I can pick up on that is like indicating where these traps are?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can make a perception roll.
All right, I am
I mean,
doing.
so they are actually literally
Yes.
labeled, but yeah.
Okay, so there's a
Like-
label, and then, but how about like where she's reaching in, or can I discern that?
Sure.
And I got a 22.
Yeah, with that, I mean, had she not been with you and you were looking for it, you would have been able to spot the little compartment. I mean, it's well concealed. I mean, most people with lesser attention to detail wouldn't notice it.
Okay, but I Could-
you can
I can-
make it out.
can pick it out now.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And if you pause and study the ground, you can see that there is a pretty reasonably concealed like trapdoor on the ground there.
Okay.
So when you get past that, you reach the end of the tunnel and you come to another door that matches the one you came into. She goes through the processes, opens it up. All right, we made it. And opens the door up and motions you through. And you step into a kind of a narrow landing there's like a clean white floor and stone walls, and there's a small room with a bunch of different shelves and some tools hanging about, and there's a set of stairs leading up, and the room is illuminated with these magical lights. So once you're all in, she closes the doors, secures it. Whew, and she takes her bag and she goes over to one of these compartments and puts her little key in it, opens it, and stows her stuff in the bag and closes it and locks it. You notice there's little names on these compartments, and hers says Seela. All right, let's go up and meet the chief. So just I'll do the talking, and don't worry, it's going to be fine. It's going to be just fine. And she leads you up the stairs and opens the door at the top of the stairs and steps in. And I'm presuming you're following her?
Yes.
Okay. So you step into, I'm going to call it a lobby, this fairly ornately decorated open spaced area. You can see off to one side, there are some glass doors leading out, and you can kind of see like there's like a street out there and some buildings. And there, the room itself is about 50-foot square. And on one side, opposite the entryway, there's like a desk where there are three more kobolds sitting there. They're dressed differently. They're actually very finely dressed, wearing colorful outfits, and they've got jewelry on. And the place is pretty well illuminated. And you also immediately notice that there's like the violin music playing. It's like really beautiful music playing. And you kind of listen around, looking around, and you see it seems to be coming in through these little tubes in the ceiling. And the music is sort of echoing out through the room. And it's very kind of relaxing as you step out, but it's also immaculate. So at this point, I mean, you're a little bit dirty. You know, you've been tromping through the tunnel.
Never. How dare you, Don? I have prestidigitation. I'm never dirty. I'm never dirty.
Never dirty. And you see, so behind the desk, there's a huge banner with this Kapoko logo on it, and you have a sense like this is obviously an important place. So she, she looks around and she kind of goes walking over to the lobby, and she's like, "Hi, can you call the chief?" And the person behind the kobold behind there looks at you and looks at them, and she's like, "I'm supposed to be here. What are they doing here?" And then they do this little whispered exchange, and then the girl reaches in and she starts tapping on a bell beneath her desk. You kind of hear it echoing a little bit. And she's like, "It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine."
Oh gosh.
And like maybe about 30 seconds later, there's a couple of doors on either side of this, where the people are sitting. I must say the reception desk, if you will, and a slightly taller kobold than her and decidedly portly. Uh, he's wearing kind of this gray full body suit with the Kapoko logo on it. He comes kind of waddling out, and he sees her, and he frowns, and he sees you, and his eyes go wide. He's like, what is the meaning of this? What does this mean? Field Engineer Seela, how dare you bring brigands into the corporate office? You know that's not allowed. What is this? Who are you? What is the meaning of all this? And she's like, it's okay. It's okay. It's about the notice. About the notice that you put on the board. He's like, what? He's like, they're not brigands. What do you mean they're? And he stops and he looks at all of you very carefully, looking at your outfits. And he's kind of appraising you. What's your associations?
What's our associations? Well, these are my associates.
We're in a band.
Yes.
We have liberated the city of Vadrogan. We are the ones who have installed Arvik as the rightful champion of the pirates.
He's looking puzzled and concerned, and then she's like, Chief, they're outsiders. And so he's like, his eyes narrow, and then they're like, oh. And he looks around. Come this way. Who saw you come in here?
I wasn't done yet. We are the founders of the yet-to-be Troubadours Guild.
He like kind of just turns, and he's like, come on. And motions for you to follow him back through the door he came in.
I will follow.
You may have heard of such epics and odes as...
He opens the door, and you probably can't move through it quick enough for his taste. So he's just like impatiently motioning you. So assuming that you cooperate and get through, he will look around again. He sort of points at one of the girls at the front. It's like, and then pulls the door closed, and then leads you down this pristine hallway past a variety of different doors where you pass through, and you look and you see there's these small like work areas where people are sitting at desks, and there's papers everywhere. And he leads you to the back of the hall, looks around again, and opens a door and motions you inside.
I will be talking the entire time that we're going down that hallway, listing off accomplishments and associates, and basically, humble bragging as much as I can.
All right, so he practically sort of like nudges you in. Seela follows you in, and then he'll shut the door. So inside the room, there's kind of a large desk with a chair behind it and papers all over it. Again, the place is lit, and there's a couch there and a couple other chairs. And he shuffles around and sits back in his chair. He's like, all right. I don't know a single word that you just said and what that means. What I got out of that, though, is that you aren't from around here. And that means you're not in a guild, and you're not brigands.
Does this place have something against non-union? I mean,
I think that's what it is, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody who understands. Perhaps I can speak to you. Are you in charge? And he looks at you.
No.
Just go with it.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Oh, he's not in charge. Brokos.
No, it's this guy, the one who talks a lot.
I am Alar Noestri.
Well, what the chairman always says, the one who talks a lot has the least to say.
I'm pretty clear I've made it obvious that I have a lot to say.
Yes. I am...
That doesn't make sense.
I'm Chief Engineer Sakoth Mudbelly.
You all talk so fast and so funny. I don't know your names. Sikoff Mumbly?
Mudbelly.
Mudbelly.
I wonder how he got that name.
Do you say that?
Yeah.
No. He'll actually scowl at you. And you see Seela actually will kind of he's like, it is a fine, proud, traditional name. Just because my ancestors crawled up out of the mud does not demean the fine work that we do and carry on these days. I'll have you know.
No, I agree. It is all about
Mhm.
accomplishment. It is about what you aspire to.
That's right, and I aspire to run this plant in the tip-top shape. To make the
didn't-
chairman proud.
I didn't mean any offense, Mr. Mudbelly. I was just curious.
Don't know why I thought you might be in charge. All right, you.
Wow.
If you don't think I'm browbeaten by now after hanging out with Alar, I don't know what you think. But this is just another day.
That is sad.
Poor Brokos.
I just want to be friends.
Right.
Oh gosh.
So Seela starts trying to cut in, and she very quickly explains the situation, and she's like, tells like, oh yeah, there were those dreamers in the tunnel, and they attacked me, and they saved me, and by the way, I need to fill out an SMA report, but they're not part of the guild, so I expensed their lunch. And he's like, you what? They did save my life, and it was cheaper than the report. And he's like, oh, fine. You're lucky no demerits today. I hope this works out for all of you. So this is your first time to Knockabout.
Yes.
Indeed, we are looking
Yes.
for a long-lost friend.
Long lost friend. Well,
She
this
has
is
recently come through here.
We
To whom
believe.
would we talk about other newcomers to this fine city?
well, that's very much why I wanted to speak to you, because there's been a lot of newcomers.
Hmm.
I mean, the city itself is all about newcomers, but it is the newcomers of late that I am concerned about. And I'm in a difficult position because I have the best interests of Kapoko in hand, but I don't think the chairman is seeing things quite the way that they need to be seen, and I am worried. I'm worried about the newcomers and the risk to our operation. And I need someone outside of the local guilds who can assist quietly. And it looks like you've fallen right into that position, and perhaps we can help each other.
Why must it be someone outside of the local guilds?
Because any sign of weakness, people go for your throats. Kapoko prides itself on holding the high ground and being the strongest force of power in the city. If we show weakness, then it could cause chaos. It could cause instability, and there's already guilds against guilds all the time.
Hmm.
And I take it that you clearly understand how one claw scratches another scaly back. To what advantage is it for us to work for Kapoko?
Well, in the strictest sense, you won't be entirely working for Kapoko.
Oh, well then,
Gonna be
good
working-
day, sir, and I'll turn around.
You're going to be working for me
Oh. Hmm.
on the down low.
On the
Huh.
down low?
Yes. Not too
But
low.
again, good sir Mudbelly, why do we wish to?
I can make it worth your while. It is about power, right? You're new to the place. You need to get settled in. In fact, I think I know exactly how we can assist you. I can set you up some place to stay, let you get your feet wet, learn the lay of the land. Perhaps set you in the right direction to search around for this friend of yours. And you can do some investigative work for me. I need you to find out more about the activities of this arcanum. See if you can find out more things that they might be talking about in the taverns. Learn a little bit of it more when they come to town. I'm worried about them and their dig site and what they're up to.
I will lean over to Alar and Brokos and say, I do not want to be somebody else's fetch and carry again.
Mm,
Agreed.
mm.
I'm
Mm.
sure we can find taverns and inns of our own. We are quite competent at navigating and talking to people. What you offer us is nothing more than we could do for ourselves.
Well, he pulls a drawer out from below his desk and kind of fishes around. He's like, I know those around here somewhere. Pulls out a ring of keys. Aha, here we go. Inns, taverns, those are not for people who wish to stay unnoticed, which, from the look of you and the fact that you are outside agents, cutters, if you will, you're going to be prime targets for the guilds, people wanting to get you to join. Independent
Is
agents.
that not what you are doing right now?
Oh, no. I'm not trying to get you to join a guild at all.
But you are seeking us to ally with your particular faction.
Just for now, I think he wants us to be freelance. Alar.
I'm looking for, yes, a little back scratching, and then I will scratch yours right now. I can make some housing arrangements for you. This way you can stay in a discreet place without need for prying eyes into your business.
Hmm.
I think maybe perhaps you misconstrued what Alar is when you say the word discreet.
You're not speaking my language.
Well, tell me what
Must be mistranslation from the kobold. I don't know what that
Perhaps you could find us a place to. Do you have a concert hall or some kind of theater? Or perhaps you could get us a working gig. And I'm going to look at Alar and wink, like too obvious. Like I'm
Well,
trying to
I
help
wouldn't.
him out.
I wouldn't mind a place with a nice lake view, a balcony, and premium lodging. Certainly is something we've earned at this point.
Well, you can't quite see the lake, but maybe it is third floor. We have all of those things that you've said. Entertainment is desired down here, but it is a tough gig to break into. I can help out with that. In fact, right next door to this fine lodging, there is one of the most respectable taverns in town, the Lost Lady. In fact, I believe the proprietor does owe me a favor. If you wish to perform, I can certainly get you on that stage, which is a very much desired spot. He's extremely resistant to just letting anybody perform.
Alar, this is kind of what you've been asking for.
Finally, perhaps Knockabout will afford us the respect that Vadrogan never did.
This could be our big break.
Hmm.
I will require a bowl of M&M's green only.
And unscented wipes.
Seela, make notes of what their needs are. All right, I can arrange for lodging, and we can give you a per diem to get you on your way. We'll dispense with a contract at the moment. What I'm looking for, it's going to require a degree of tact, and perhaps asking around at these places of entertainment is a good place to start, because I know these wizards and their lackeys come to town to spend their ill-gotten gains, and I'm sure someone somewhere is going to be talking about the activities that are going on over there. And I need to know.
Wizards.
Need to know what the risks are to Kopoko and her interests.
Hmm. So the Arcanum is all a bunch of wizards?
Well, no, they have a whole hierarchy of people, and they're somehow entrenched in the gladiators too, and some sort of arm of a military force. They've been bringing in people from above.
Oh.
There's been a lot of outsiders here lately, not the usual escaped slaves and disenfranchised gladiators. These are people. These are different ones. These are not people that we can trust, I think.
And what makes you think you can trust us?
Well, if you're willing to unaffiliated and help someone the likes of field engineer like that and risk yourself, I mean, surely there must be, I don't know, some, what is the word I'm looking for? It's not part of my vocabulary. Generosity, that's it.
Generosity, not part of my vocabulary. I mean, I will say again to Alar and Brokos, alone, that if the Arcanum is full of new outsiders, we may be able to find what we are looking for as well.
It sounds like a good lead. And who would suspect the most celebrated up-and-coming music group to secretly be investigators?
Depends on how many people are from up top that may have already heard of you and your amazing performances.
Well, I wish that were true, Triss, but Wolf Canute barely left us any time.
It'll be like the surface invasion. It'll be the first wave of new music. We will literally be playing in the cavern.
So, we have a deal then.
Pending a full disclosure of all of the benefits that we will accrue.
Nice, Triss.
Yes.
Now, I can appreciate that. Perhaps we should fill out a contract.
Yes.
As an aside, and since it's important to you and we are going to be working together, who by chance is this friend of yours? Perhaps I've heard of them.
Well, we don't want them to get in trouble. We will do our own investigations.
After all, that's what you hired us for, to investigate. So we're probably pretty good at it.
Very well. Very well. So, I am prepared to pay you guild rates, 5 gold a day per person, until this job is done.
Plus amenities we talked about.
Yes. That includes the lot. Well, yes, of course, you'll get the lodging. And I will hook you up with Fred, and he will, I'm sure, put you on stage.
Once Fred hears about us.
I'm sure you'll be on the stage with the Lost Lady before you know it. Are we good?
Thank you, Mudbelly.
I'll give you a few days to get your feet wet, as it were. I recommend staying out of the guild business, keeping out of their eyesight, so to speak. And I will have someone check in with you in a few days to see how you are making progress.
How will we know that it is your person?
I'll make sure that they have one of my business cards.
Business cards.
You corporate people.
Okay. That is, I mean, nobody could acquire your business card in another way. That doesn't seem very secure. You're not very good at this, like, stealthy thing, are you?
He's an engineer, you know.
I solve problems. Well, perhaps I'll send Seela.
That would be acceptable.
How do we know that she's not a counterfeit, Seela? It's D&D. It could be true, though.
It could be true.
It could be true.
They both look at you, and he's like, she's not an accountant. She's an engineer.
We're turning this around on you. Done.
All right, so he hands the keys to her, says, take them to the corporate suite. It's over in well. She's like, oh, I know. I'm familiar with it is. Very well. You'll love the establishment. Great view. Wonderful neighbors. Get settled in, and we'll check in with you soon.
Okay. I
Is
hope
the
it's not all
mini is the mini bar included?
mini bar.
You're gonna want to go stock up on some food, but there is a market
Oh.
nearby.
Okay.
And I hope it's all not kobold sized.
What are you saying? Something wrong with kobolds?
I'm saying I may not fit in your furniture.
I mean, you're sitting in one right now, and you realize it's appropriately sized. So
Oh, all right.
they must be accustomed to dealing with people larger than kobolds.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. Very well. And then Seela will kind of take them out the back. And she's going to lead you down a hallway to a back door and check both ways. This door actually has the same type of locking mechanism as the other ones that you've seen. And she opens it up and you step out of this. You realize you're inside of a really large stone building and you're kind of in this wide alley. I'll say alley loosely. I mean, it's probably about 40 feet to the nearest building.
Oh.
And you step out and she gets the door closed on the other side. And it's this huge, like it's probably 40 feet tall, just like solid stone, no windows. I mean, it looks like just this huge construction. And then you look at and you realize now that you are in the city and you can see the cavern rises up above you, like way up. I mean, it's probably 500 feet, but you're actually at the cavern wall on one side. So you look up and you can see it just kind of climb up and slowly arch up and away. You can't see the water from where you're at, but you know you're probably like facing towards that, but the whole city is now between you. And it's wonderfully illuminated. And there's a whole series of buildings off to your right. And in front of you, between this is the Kapoko headquarters, which is this huge vault of a building, there is a wide promenade that kind of runs perpendicular and cuts in front of the headquarters. And then beyond that is the city. And so this promenade is probably, I think it's like 100 feet across. Something like that. No, it's, 50 feet across. So it's this 50-foot wide promenade, beyond which are all like the rest of the city. And the promenade it cuts through this section. And I'll get a map up for you for next time. But the promenade is basically a row of trees, like hundreds of these trees, almost like a little mini park. And there's walkways and paths in it, and you can see people kind of walking about and chatting and some kids playing. And then on the other side of the promenade is like the city, and it's alive. There's people everywhere and carts, and you actually see a couple horses, not a lot of horses. Those are not going to be common, but there are a few moving about. And again, it's this huge mixture of races. It's not even predominantly kobold now. You'd say probably half human. So there's a lot of humans, a scattering of dwarves, but there's other races mixed in. There's some half orcs, and then you can see actually maybe a few full-blooded orcs, like here and there, like sticking to themselves. But you also spot a few goblins kind of moving about. Like it's a whole slew of races in this weird cosmopolitan underground city, just waiting for you to explore and find out more about the mysteries ahead of you. But that's all for today, because now
Cool.
I'm gonna poise you for even more adventure next time.
All right.
fun.
We have a contract.
You have
That's
a
right.
contract
And a rider.
And an
I love it.
introduction. Yeah, a writer. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I love
right.
it.
and an
I mean-
introduction for your first performance.
We're
But
gonna have
no
to get
benefit package.
matching outfits. We're gonna have to get. There's so much to do before the show.
You
I
have
know.
to do. The day's young. I mean,
Pyrotechnics, there's so much I want to.
so you better prepare your song, because we're all going to be waiting for it for next
Oh,
time.
right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I just play drums. Okay.
And I think Tris sings.
She's the tambourine.
She's tambourine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tambourine.
Oh, tambourine.
She might be
And the
harmonies.
Strange Elaine dancing.
Hmm.
I can't wait.
No, if you're ready
Hopefully-
for me to, lip sync to some YouTube I find between now and then, sure. But that's about as much as you're gonna
Aw,
get.
I really want to. No, I think you.
No, you're the actual singer.
I would not say that, but I would love to see you come.
You're always breaking into song. What are you talking about?
Well, that's not actual singing. That's just.
I
Fun
will. I
singing.
can't wait to hear it next time. So
Challenge
we will-
accepted.
No, no,
we
it's
will
not.
see you guys next week.
Alar's gonna
Done.
pass out.
Bye.
See you all next week.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed our show, please take a moment to rate us in the Apple or Google store, as this goes a long ways to promote us. You can also follow us on Facebook /Dungeon Patrol or Twitter @Dungeon Patrol, and we're also at dungeonpatrol.com. New episodes will be streaming Sundays at 7 p.m. on Monsters Roll Twitch channel a day early. We're also on Patreon @Dungeon Patrol. If you really love our show, we would love your support. Even $1 a month can help us keep the content coming. Dungeon Patrol is a Monsters Roll production. We'll see you next week. This dungeon has been patrolled.